Hello, this is Adrian Pond from The Ripple Effect. We are here today with Rossco Paddison. And the reason I have him here is because he's taken $5,000 and got over $1 million worth of exposure. He's got multiple businesses that have turned over six figures, and he has had over 750 people. 750,000 people.
It's a couple more.
A few more zeros. And that's the difference between success and not success, is the number of zeros, isn't it? Yeah. So let me get that right. 750,000 people go through his doors. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Adrian.
You're welcome. So tell us about you. So tell us about your business.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of great things that I've achieved, as Adrian's just listed off, but I've got to tell you, my story doesn't come from one of, instantly having those skills. I'm sure many of you in business have had trials and tribulations and had to kind of fail forwards in order to get what you want, and that's definitely been the truth in my story. And one of the things I've noticed is that, just to even start out right away here, right now, is to really rev things up, is to know that you guys, the difference between you being able to create lots and lots of money and lots of wealth, but also to have a great impact on the world at the same time. The trick is persistence and resilience. Your ability to get up again and again and again. I mean, I've got those great results, but I've been bankrupt, and I've got my flaws, that's for sure. Dyslexic, ADD, like all of them. Yeah.
And I like the way you frame that. They are your superpowers because just as Branson has dyslexia and so forth, it has turned you into a better entrepreneur. Yeah, and what I love about what I've learned about what you've done in the past is one of the things was you really get causes and how much you can do for your business. So tell us a little bit about what you've done.
Awesome, thank you. So one of the things, I actually stumbled across causes. It was kind of accidental in the sense that I wanted to help some people out, and I didn't really do it with an intention in place of actually making money out of it or anything like that. And as a result, I accidentally made 80 grand, and I'll share with you guys how I did that. But no, I just started out with a small concept. It was one very simple thing I worked on many years ago, and it was called Take One, Leave One. And I've since handed that cause on to someone else, which they haven't taken very good care of it. So it still exists, but it's in poor form. But essentially, the lesson is that I started a Facebook group, and one of the simple things that I did that enabled me to get over 30 grand's worth of media exposure straight away is that I just had friends on Facebook that were journalists. Like literally, that was like... Yeah. Honestly, for you guys, if you're working with Adrian, I know he's got great marketing tips and things around cause-related marketing. One of the coolest things you want to do is just jump on Facebook and start befriending people who are in the media. Like, pick up your newspaper and look at the name of the journalist and just type it in and see if you can start to build a network. And don't go for the editor every time. Go for the low-hanging fruit. Go get the cadets and the people just starting out because they want to write these sorts of stories.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And tell us what was the response from the community and with the cause. It was just a great one.
Great, yeah, no, I had an overwhelming response. In fact, we had 6 or 7 stations where these bookshelves were, where people could just come and take or leave a book from those stands. And essentially, the concept was an honesty system, and what we actually ended up having was a flood of books, and some of the bookshelves were overflowing, so we had to create new stations and keep it moving. And one of the things that I started talking to the business owners, even the businesses that I had them in, and the businesses that I was working with in order to help them get people into their business by one of the charities I was running. Like, you need to think of it in terms that it's not just your business that's going to help you make money, it's other people's businesses around you, and I know that you work with people on that.
That's right.
And so these business owners were saying to me, wow, we've actually got people coming in specifically for that, thank you so much. I'm like, great, what if I could show you a way in which to, help further increasing your business? And as a result, I ended up with 4 different clients and made over 80 grand out of, that one little promotion that was just a feel-good, nice thing that I wanted to do.
That is just absolutely amazing.
The whole thing cost me $28. I bought some cheap bookshelves from the dollar shop.
Yeah.
And that's all the costs were. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't really have to cost very much, does it?
No.
And it's a lot simpler than it looks.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the thing is, you've got to understand this, is that people in this world, a good thing is so far and few between. I mean, if you've read Richard Branson's Screw Business as Usual book, he talks about the social economy, and that in the future we'll only be buying from people who are doing business and doing it good at the same time. You know, we'll be making ethical financial choices in the future, and it's, you know, it's the next the sky is ozone falling thing that's going to happen in business. So honestly, I mean, even like and I'm saying this from two perspectives. Like, I am heart-centered and I want to do things nicely because I stumbled across this. But I mean, even if you just want to make more money in your business and contribution isn't as big a thing to you, it is actually a path to monetization. And I don't say that in a way that is detriment to anyone, because you've got to do something good in order to get the attention. So,
absolutely.
You know, like, is there anything wrong with making money out of doing something good? No way.
Absolutely. And every time I ask business owners, what, you know, if you made more money, would you contribute more? And the result is always they would do it.
It's a resounding yes. You know, like, I know that every single person I've ever worked with, if they could make more money whilst helping more people, you know, like if you guys could wake up tomorrow, you know, when you work with Adrian and you wake up and after you've been to some of his trainings, I know the ripple effect is like, it's a good training, man. Like, absolutely. As a trainer, you know, as someone who runs my own trainings, it's rare that you'll even hear me say that I like someone else's training, and I don't say that lightly. So I really, I really appreciate that. Oh, the mic's rubbing up against me. I thought he was trying to grab my leg. I was like, I was like, you don't have to rub my leg if I give you a compliment, man. I'm just good at giving you a compliment. No, but seriously, like, I mean, if you want to, you know, even consider about doubling your business in the next 12 months, if you want to even consider that as being on the radar, you've got to start to take a different stance inside. This economy is different. You know, people will turn heaven and earth upside down to, you know, like, you look at, like, the Brisbane floods. We had the Brisbane floods. Now, I know this will probably be prehistoric by the time people are watching it, when we've got grey hair and stuff. Hide the greys we've already got. But the Brisbane floods, I mean, like, I couldn't believe the humanity that came out of southeast Queensland. You know, like, I lived down on the Gold Coast, and I knew people that I knew from northern New South Wales that were packing up their entire car and driving everything that they had in their own pantry up to help these people. You know, people really do care about others. We stop and we help others when stuff's going wrong. So, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be helping more people, but along the way, the best way to be able to continue helping more people is to be helping yourself at the same time, so you have more resources to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the thing is, you know, why wait for a tragedy before we step up?
Yeah.
You know, it's really, we can step up now and do good while we don't have to.
Yeah.
Which is
And you can step up and you can do good right now, and you can be doing well for yourself. And doing well for yourself isn't just about doing good for the community. When you do well for yourself, then your family and the people around you that you love, that you want to spend time with, the things that you want to do, the holidays you want to go on, the experiences you want to have. Like, if you've got kids, what about if you took your kids and you got their favourite band? Like, if you had so much money that you could afford to have, you know, Dorothy the dinosaur do a concert for your little kids, or whoever it was that they liked. Obviously, not all kids love Dorothy. Some kids cry. But essentially, you know, if you could take Dorothy and then you could take it and get a private show for your children because you have so much money, but not just a private show for your children on their own, in an orphanage. Yeah. You know, go and really give back to everyone around you. Like, I really, honestly, you guys have got to get into these, you know, these steps that Adrian shares with you inside the ripple effect. I know that he genuinely has, like, I look at these and I'm someone who's a serial business owner and a serial entrepreneur, and, you know, look, I will make $1 million next year, whether I wake up or not. So one of the things that I want you to know is that if you don't have these foundations, you know, if you don't build your business on the structure that Adrian provides, then you can't have a platform that's solid, that's going to last the test of time. It's this interweave of doing good for society that's going to give you that platform to launch your business from. And essentially, any money-making strategy under the sun will not work if your heart's not in it, because you won't be congruent with it for very long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And so is there any final words that you'd like to add for all the people who are maybe on the fence and going, yeah, they know they could do something, but they're not sure about it?
Look, honestly, like, I mean, look, I could plug myself right now because, you know, like, I have heaps of trainings and stuff and cool shit. But honestly, if you guys have, like, an inclination around the foundations of where you're at, how much is your ripple effect?
It's not much.
How much is it?
It's $3,000. basically.
That's the 3-day training, and then there's an event they go to before.
Absolutely, the ripple effect. It's only $47.
$47.
That's right, $47. So it's a night out.
He needs to up that price. Anyway, you can go and get a foundation of something which is $47 to get the foundations and the principles of what it'll do, and then you can obviously decide to join Adrian in his 3-day training. 3-day training, which is $3,000. Honestly, look at it from this perspective. It's $3,000, and you're going to be helping people out. Do you give back to someone or something in the process of doing those trainings?
Absolutely, that changes. But the Building Blocks program is we'll be contributing bricks towards building a school in Uganda.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that'll create a generational change because we're educating them, not just feeding them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my final words of this, guys, is that if you want to do business and just do business for business sake, then that's cool. You know, you probably will have a business that will not be so good for you at a heart, soul level, you know, in the long term. And you will basically have a job, not a business. If you want to come from a heart-centered place and really care for not only the people in the world around you and yourself, but you want to have a good time with your family and the people around you, then you've got to join Adrian just to get an understanding of the concepts and understand what the steps are you need to take forward, obviously working with him and, you know, making a difference in the world.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure, man.
Okay.